Deep in the forests of Gluhan, there lived two brothers. One day they were gathering berries by a brook when one was snatched away by a giant eagle. The other one was then eaten by a tiger. Then there were no brothers. However, the tree on the left, yes, that one, he was Nefar, the wisest of all trees. The other tree said, "We've got no story now because the two brothers have been eaten." Nefar said, "What are you looking at me for? I am just a tree." Then, with a loud laugh, Nefar uprooted, stomped through the jungle, and went to join a hippie colony in the Arizona desert. The other trees tried to uproot, but couldn't. One of them fell over, pitifully. Meanwhile, the tiger, happy after his meal, came back and sang a song while strumming on a guitar. "Please tune your guitar," said a tiny yellow flower. But the tiger ignored him and strummed on. Then Nefar arrived at the hippie colony. "Look, man, a walking tree," said Frank, the leader of the colony. Nefar was soon made to feel at home with the kind, sharing hippies. However, after many days and weeks, the colony was taken over by an evil gang of dancing shower units. This, then, is the story of the amazing dancing shower units of Arizona and how they were much sought after by the great spirit of Wuluf. Wuluf, the sky spirit with an interest in domestic appliances, was bored with his shower. It could talk, tell jokes, and even hum Australian pop ballads, but it couldn't dance. "I need a shower unit that can dance," said Wuluf, and so he searched through all the earth, looking for such a thing. One day his friend the god Yin Yin, who wrote down the names of all the fish in the sea and then carelessly lost his information in a laundry-related incident, said, "I have heard of a dancing shower colony in Arizona." Straight away, Wuluf went in search of this colony. But he never found it. Stepping out of his front door, he was struck by a thunderbolt sent by Lorenza, the jealous king of all the gods. "I don't see why you should have such an unusual domestic appliance when I have to make do with a jumping jacuzzi, which is both annoying and most impractical." It is worth pointing out that Lorenza's wife, the beautiful and magical Queen Vinna, had left him the previous year after he had started to smell terrible, mainly because he had never been able to use his jacuzzi properly. Vinna was a kind goddess who took a special interest in everything to do with chalk. In days gone by, many teachers would bless Vinna for the chalk they used to write on their blackboards. Of course, with the coming of electronic classroom display systems, the teachers forgot Vinna and changed their allegiance to Duldul, the god of modern electronic interactive whiteboard systems, which were very popular among schools of the Great Southern Jungle. In such a school, one day, sat little Habley, only 7 years old, amazed at how their teacher could show so many wonderful things on their interactive whiteboard, especially as there was no electric power supply in the village whatsoever. But while Habley sat in her schoolroom, dazzled by the magical board, a band of ferocious pirates was playing ice hockey in the Arctic wastes of the Great Northern Sea. Their boats had been frozen in a sudden ice storm. With nothing to do, the two captains agreed to a game of hockey to see which crew was the best. "Besides," said old Captain Zarf, "it'll take the crew's minds off the freezing cold, and the fact that I haven't paid them in 5 years." It was perhaps unwise of the captain to mention this, because, at once, the crew turned on him in their anger, tied him to a stake, and started shooting hockey pucks at his body. "Mutiny!" shouted Captain Zarf. But the crew ignored him. They thought this game was such sport, and could not help but play it day after day, even when the ice had melted and many of them had been eaten by passing sharks. The game was taken back to Scotland, and over many years it became golf, a sport much loved by men who find it difficult to communicate with their wives and families. So the world moves on. A popular sport is born, and even to this day, tigers strum on out-of-tune guitars, much to the annoyance of frustrated small yellow flowers.